working with a neurobiologist or a historian, because there's a deeply toxic self-interest, which I think you also discuss in your books, toxic self-interest versus group interest. Because there's a capitalistic and Western society survival of fittest ideology that originated originally to try and justify scientifically racism and white supremacy in the 1860s with the first libertarians, Galton and Herbert Spencer, where what they were trying to show was, because that isn't how evolution works. And think tanks on both sides wrongly think that it's competition that is the magic behind evolution. And it's not. It's actually cooperation. And they also wrongly view the benefits of evolution, because evolution does
Hey,
not.
Michael, we got a lot to unpack there. Let's hear from our guest.
Yeah, thank you, Michael. This is a very interesting idea.
Evolution doesn't
and one that I'm still,
optimize, number
kind of
one.
wrestling with, thinking
And
about,
number
writing
two, it
about.
doesn't work
But I do
primarily
believe
by
that you're
competition.
right. There was a period,
That's
and
the
I
big
showed
one.
it
It's
really
not
good at the beginning of the
survival
Reagan
of the
administration.
fittest.
You also see it
That's
in
not
in
the
England,
guiding
beginning of
principle.
the Thatcher,
If anything
Margaret
is
Thatcher
number one,
administration there, you begin
and
to see
primal
this
to how
move
evolution
away from
works,
the collective ideal.
it's
All
cooperation.
government is bad. Government's part of the
So,
problem.
on both right and
they were
left
addressing real
sides,
issues. I mean, government had
think
overstepped,
tanks
in
on
my
both
opinion. There was
sides,
certain significant
Republican,
overstepping, but
Democrat,
that does not mean, of course, the pendulum
the
has to swing all
foundations of
way
the
to where it
ideology,
did. And my feeling is that as time went on,
survival of the
we lost
fittest,
sight.
competition
Because we were
is
so
key
prosperous,
to
certainly in this country,
optimization,
we were
economics,
so prosperous,
capitalism,
we
all of it.
felt we didn't actually need
The entire Western
one another.
ideology.
We
It's a,
didn't need that collaborative, collective,
and survival of the
community,
fittest is basically
approach to
eugenics.
like we could, everything
These
was done
guys,
for us
Galton,
because we had
Herbert
every
Spencer,
service that you could possibly
did it
need.
simultaneously
We began to
together
believe that we were somehow,
in the 1860s,
exceptional.
right at the beginning times of the Civil War, when the country was at its most
that's what began to happen, certainly with the Reagan administration, and then at that pendulum began to swing,
disharmonious.
and you began to see all these towns.
They were trying to justify scientifically,
you want free trade,
to
there's
scientifically
arguments for that.
justify
But you have to
racism,
do something for those
specifically
towns that have
chattel
lost
slavery.
those factories
More than
that
the
go to
racism,
Mexico,
it really
go
was
to
never about the
China
racism.
in
It was
colossal-
about chattel
colossal
slavery and
numbers. And it was
economics
almost as if we
and
felt
using
as a country
people
like, well, you lose,
to benefit
time for you
themselves.
to suck it up
Greed.
and rebound. Coal goes away. It's your bummer.
The
it's not
color,
not ours.
the
And I
geographic
think that
location,
that was an attitude,
the
a prevailing
original
attitude in this country that
economic
I think became very
or living
damaging.
conditions.
And self-reliance is an
All of
important thing,
those.
but the thing about self-reliance is it's dependent on
Were
other
meaningless
people. It's
compared to the
counterintuitive,
economic
but I
benefits
think, but you cannot be
greed
self-reliant without the help
motivated
of other
and were the
people.
core
And
in all
we
these
lost
cases.
that. I think to
It
a
was
great
cane
degree,
sugar,
and I
in
think
fact, not cotton or
the
tobacco.
a symptom,
And it
there are
began
others,
with
but
pirates
a symptom is the enormous,
who
very entrenched now,
made it a
drug
business
addiction
just to
epidemic that we're
capture
seeing,
slaves
coast to coast. You also see it though in other
along with the loot
suicide,
and then
depression,
sell them because you had to get rid of them.
friendlessness,
Might as
people
well
don't have
make
any
money off of it.
friends, loneliness. You see a lot of things like this. You see big housing developments being built out in the middle of nowhere. So that the next time you need to go buy a loaf of bread, you have to get in your car for 5 miles and that kind of thing. All of these things seem to be baked into American culture in the last 40 years. And I think the effect has been to corrode that community feel that we
I
took
wish I had
so
mentioned the
for
fact that if you look
took
up
so for
sense of
granted,
community,
and has
SOC,
enormous benefits to us.
back
And
20
one of
years
those is
ago
to, as
in
a
Rapid
bulwark of
City,
defense
in fact, if you look
things
up
like-
behavioral transmission of
George, when you
stress
think
in
about it,
quotation
we
marks,
evolved to be community beings. Human beings evolved
and comma
to
SOC
need,
or sense of
not to think
community,
that community
my
was a
paper
good
is going
thing,
to come right to the top.
absolutely need it.
I
You
didn't
don't
even
sur-
think
we
to
don't
mention that
survive
to
as a
this guy, and
species
he actually
without
ends
that movement
with a
toward
focus on
each
sense
other.
of
It
community
is essential.
as being the one thing
And
he
we
wants to
got away
convey.
in this country,
And he came at it
in the
the
last
same way
40
I did,
years,
from hearing
we
these
believe that
stories
now
of
it can
people
go
who
to
were the
White
most
House.
disadvantaged,
And
women
so you're
who've
seeing
been
a lot of the things
abused,
that sociologists
drug
and mental
addicts,
health experts
poor
and on and
homeless
journalists
people,
are noting
children.
about our culture today. The mass
Unbelievable.
shooting phenomenon is another
and
one.
there's this
All of
one
that kind of
core
stuff. I think because we
core
have just
root.
kind of
It's actually a
shredded
moderator.
all
It
that
moderates
brought
the
us
balance
together in
between
that
self-interest
dreamland
and group
pool,
interest
and those
that
jobs that went away,
not only
and the
is
Main Street
generated
that had to
internally,
finally buckled under
because that's what
to Walmart.
sociality is. It's a balance
Well,
between
all that's
self and
part of
group
that
interest.
same-
That's what
that same story.
sociality
The same
is
Quinones, you
and
brought up
means.
Walmart, which plays
And that
a
internal
role
state
in
is
your
projected
writing.
outwards
What is
to
that role?
culture. Culture is biology.
Well, yes.
And I
Walmart
completely
is,
spaced on all of that.
First
My
of all,
whole
a
life
sign that you have no more Main
connecting
Street
with his in that way,
small town
because
America.
the other
It's a
message,
sign that your Main Street is
is
dead
also
or,
key.
or dying, or
It
it
all
may have
fits
been
together.
the reason that
Sorry
your
to
Main Street
interrupt
is
him
dying.
here.
But it's also, I think, a very important thing that people don't understand about Walmart is it's also the place where you kind of, it's also the lubricant of the drug trade. In many towns, and I heard this from too many addicts who have convinced me of this, and that is the reason
Been
for
there
that is,
with them,
that Walmart
not
does
watching
put
as much as
much money at
experiencing,
all, certainly comparatively to other big
not
box
doing
stores,
myself out there.
much money at all into
It's an incredible
preventing
other
shoplifting.
reality out there.
If you go to a Target,
And it
go to a Target, you'll
moderates
notice
top to
free time.
bottom
Go to Target, the aisles are wide,
everything
the
from
lights are bright,
creativity,
and you see
to
Target employees in their red shirts,
international
5,
politics.
6, 8, 10,
Incredible.
every time you visit the place.
We're
Go
connected.
to a Walmart, the aisles are narrow, the lights are dim, and you rarely see a Walmart